Hi everybody. Today I'm going to do an ocean painting using the swipe technique with a diagonal composition. Now if this is the first video of mine that you've seen and you're a beginner to pour painting, you might want to review some of my other videos because I have gone over different techniques, different things I use, and I'm trying to keep these videos relatively short so I don't spend time going over the same ground over and over again. But with this technique, one thing I do want to repeat is I'm using treadmill belt lubricant. It's 100% silicone. I'm put about 8 or 10 drops in each of these individual colors, and it's very critical to this technique. With that said, I'm going to move right along, talk to you about what I have here. I have some different blues, and I have some gold, which is going to be where the ocean meets the sand, where the water reaches your toes. We all know the feeling, hopefully, if you've been to the beach. So I'm going to just start pouring. This is Payne's Gray. Just some blues. I'm crossing them over just a little bit. Now, if you notice, I said I was going to use a diagonal composition, but I'm pouring in straight lines. The diagonal will come when I start swiping. I'm using Nova paint today. It's my favorite paint. I use it every day, in fact. Now, this is the exception to the Nova paint. This is Americana. It's Bahama Blue. Do not be afraid to mix paint brands if you like. I happen to like this shade for an ocean pour, so I'm using it. It's an inexpensive craft paint, but I own it, so I'm using it. Now I'm going to cross over a little bit with some, make sure these colors mix. Now the other critical component to swiping, in my opinion, is using white. The white is going to go along the edges because I'm going to swipe it across these colors. I have a big spatula that I got at a restaurant supply. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a 16 by 20 canvas. Just so you know. And I'm going to start swiping, very lightly dragging this white across the other colors. You can see not much is happening. Don't panic, because if nothing shows through, if these cells don't come through, I can always go over it again. But I'd rather underdo it in the beginning than overdo it, because if you overdo it, that means you've scraped off all your paint. So don't be afraid of what you're seeing. And, you know, you stop and look and see what you've got. You don't have to race through this. I'm moving ahead a little quickly because this is a video and I'm cognizant of everybody's time. I know you want to see the results, so we're going to move along. This is a technique video, obviously, but I'm seeing the white is a little too prevalent here, so I'm going to come back this way a little bit and get some of this color to come through. And you can see I'm moving in a diagonal pattern. wave it a little bit so it reminds me a little more of the ocean. So I'm thinking of water, doing a little wavy pattern. I'm just stopping to look here and see what I've got. They all come out different, so you have to deal with whatever it is that's presented to you when you start this technique. I want to maintain this gold here, so I'm going to swipe back this way and keep some of this gold running through the pattern here. Now, inevitably, someone will look at this and say, that doesn't look like an ocean. But this is an expressive technique. This is an expressive painting. Andy Warhol said, if you're not trying to be real, you don't have to get it right. So for me, this is my expression of the ocean. It's the colors, it's the movement, and it is these cells coming up, which is really adds to the beauty of this. Just have fun. Take a look at what you're doing. Enjoy the process of it. I'm going to look and see if I want to make any more moves here. Just ever so slightly. I'm going to make a slight adjustment here. I want a little bit more of a, what would be the water reaching the sand. I'm going to take a little shot here and see if I can do something. Sometimes it's an improvement and other times it's not. I'm going to swipe this now. Now, quite often with this technique, you get so many cells popping up that you don't need to use a torch. The torch helps bring the cells up. I'm gonna, since I have scattered cells in this one, which is different than what I was expecting, I'm gonna use the torch just for a minute in a couple of areas and see if I can get some cells to come up. But I'm not gonna overdo it. Okay, so what happened here, I got some cells down here in the gold where the white crossed over the gold. I've got some small cells here. A few more came up here. I think this is certainly interesting enough. This should dry about like what you see here. However, if you want to see photos of my dried paintings, I post them on Instagram a day or two after they're dry. My Instagram is Instagram.com, Caren Goodrich, Caren with a C. So there is my ocean, my interpretation of an expressive ocean movement. I hope you'll try this technique. I hope you'll check out my other videos. Subscribe if you like them. I really appreciate it. I appreciate comments. I try to answer questions. And we'll see you in the next video.